compositionally also, you talk a lot about the recomposition of your work, and I think that a lot of the most recent works, lend themselves to an appearance of highly composed, highly regulated, compositions, and yet, they do not work that way. There's a sense of play in them. That, talk a little bit about why you feel that the work is constantly an open-ended motif that can be manipulated by the subjectivity of the curator or the subjectivity of the user, and why is that important for you?
Yeah, I think I did a bit of art education, and one of the things that I came away with was that every human being is an artist. There is an artist in every human being. And probably that is what leads me to think that I should produce just data to ginger human beings to create things, to encourage them to play around in order to get new things. And I think that life itself is not something which is a fixity. It's something which is in a state of constant flux. And I want my works to kind of reflect that quality, the quality whereby you get up every day is a new opportunity for you to create something new, or a new opportunity to do something new, or a new opportunity to think afresh. I want that kind of feeling to be around my artworks.
You spoke a little bit about the way you chance upon your artistic motivations with the clay. It has to do not with the entire form of the pot, but the shards of the pot. With the wood pieces is the serendipity of the work of the soul. And now for the work that we know now, how did that come about? How did you make the leap? There are several shifts that have occurred in this new work. A shift in scale, a shift in chromatic differences, a highly painterly yet it kind of hovers between painting and sculpture. How did that, how did that come about? Can you, talk a little bit about the moment in which this experimentation with the new, new forms emerged?
Yeah, we talk about, well, the medium has its own language, and I think that one of the things that I teach, and one of the things that I teach my students is that they should try to stay with a medium for some time before they work, make sure they understand it before they ever attempt doing anything with it. They might even discover that there's no need to do anything with it. Yeah, when I saw my first, I collected my first bag of bottle caps. They were in the studio for quite some time. And I was thinking about what precisely, I knew that as individual pieces, they didn't make any impact, and then the idea came one day that I could belt them together and then begin to create so that you have something cumulative, you get a cumulative effect of these little pieces, into one whole. And the medium actually is what determines what size, and the process, and then my feeling that this is a form that should give a lot of leeway, a lot of freedom to people to play around with it. Also dictated that these things have to be large enough. I've tried them on little scales, and they are not effective. On a little scale, they're just not effective. On the larger scale, they are effective. They give a lot of freedom and a lot of room to people to play around with, you know. And also on a small scale, being that they are very unimportant little pieces of this thing, they just look domestic and don't have any presence. They just don't say anything, you know. So these are some of them.
I'm interested in this paradox in the work, which is this paradox of the artisanal and the conceptual that is always really part of your work. Is there a disjunction that you feel between the artisanal, the handmade, the artisanal, the very, you know, highly crafted nature of the work, and yet, you know, what you were talking about is that the work is mostly driven by ideas. Do you feel that this is a paradox, or do you see this as really part of the mechanism by which your work kind of enters into, you know, the public, you know, space?
Yeah, I don't see a paradox in it. And rather I see that, well, the media that I've worked with for a long time now, right from the end of the Wood series, you know, the tail end of the Wood series, I developed this interest in things that have been put to human use, things that have the human hand touching them. You know, like I worked with mortars, you know, that have very old mortars that I collect from the village around. It is my belief that when humans touch something, there is a charge. There is a spiritual or psychic or what a charge that they leave on the things.